Hello, Flosstube. My name is Ria, and I am the Blue Coast Stitcher. And I am not liking these glasses with the glare. There's a window right there. Gives me nice natural light. Anyways, hello, my name is Ria. I am the Blue Coast Stitcher. Today's date is Thursday, August the 14th. And it's been a couple of months. I believe the last time I uploaded a video was the end of May. And I was starting my Mirabilia, Athena. So I'll have to give you an update on that. First of all, welcome. Whether you're new or a returning viewer, welcome to my quiet and cozy little corner of the Flosstube world. Grab a beverage. I'm just drinking water. It's hot. It's hot. So yeah, welcome. Where shall I begin? I kind of have an outline, but don't. Let's start with a quick life update. I uploaded the end of May, I believe. Yeah, life. It's just summer. It's summertime. It's summer. And to be honest, I didn't have a lot of stitching. It took me a while to accumulate stitching because it's summer. I'm just not stitching as much as I do because I want to be outside. We live in Canada. I live in Ontario, Canada. I live the Lake Huron's across the street from me. And summer is short and sweet here, so I'm trying to squeeze as much as I can in. Let me see what's been going on. Life. Nothing too drastic, too crazy in my world. We're just getting over a really heavy heat wave. Humidex had us in the 40s degrees Celsius, which I think in Fahrenheit is like 104, 105 with like 60, 70, 80% humidity. I'm a temperate climate girl. I don't like it. And then my SUV's air conditioner broke a couple weeks ago. About a month ago, we noticed something wasn't right. And it was being finicky because sometimes the driver's side would work and then the passenger side wasn't quite as cool. Of course, I'd be in the passenger seat in 100-degree weather when we figured that out because I'm the one who's going to point it out going, hey, this doesn't work. If I'm driving and Dave's sitting in the passenger seat, he probably doesn't notice because he's not a menopausal woman. But anyways, when was it? It was a Tuesday after Civic holiday. So just over a week ago, I went into London to Costco to do a Costco run. We've got, at the end of the month, we have Laura coming home, Daniel and Kate coming home. We're going to have a full house. And I wanted to get some toilet paper, Kleenex. We're having a party, so I wanted to get a case of Roar, which they didn't have. They were sold out everywhere at Costco. There's 2 Costcos in London. So anyways, I was driving, and it was fairly warm. It wasn't an extremely hot day. The extreme heat hadn't re-kicked in again. We just got over one. And texted my husband as I'm bombing down the 402. Heading to London going, yeah, the passenger side is just not working. It's, yeah, at least I said I got some cool air coming out of the driver's side vents. I'm warm, but I'm not dying warm, basically is what it was. And so the 402 ends at the 401, if you know southwestern Ontario. And then I go to the Costco at the Wellington Street exit. And as I get off the 401, I texted my husband and said, now it's getting much cooler. It's almost like something kicked in. I'm not sure what happened there. It was like a surge. And of course, I had to park in the hot parking lot and finished my Costco. Went to Costco, went to cash out to pay for it. And they're like, oh, you got flagged. Did you move? And I said, yeah, I changed my address online. They said, no, you have to go to membership desk. And there's a lineup. So great. But at least I was in air conditioning. And so it took over half an hour for it to be my turn. Well, I said, oh no, you can't change it online. You have to do it in person. I said, well, it's been almost 2 years since I moved. And they're like, nope, you have to do it online. So, okay, lesson learned if I ever move again. Moving's not something I like to do willy-nilly. So, did that, got back to the car. It's hot. It's hot. And there's air conditioning. At least there's some air conditioning. So I had to get gas on the way home. And part of me is thinking, you know what I'm going to do? Well, yeah, we had wildfire smoke that day too. So I didn't want to drive with the windows open because we had bad air quality, because that's been that summer here in Canada, unfortunately. Thank you, climate change. And I really didn't want to drive with the windows down. So at least I had some air conditioning on the driver's side. It's not comfortable, but it's not boiling hot either. So I had to stop to get gas and get back in, turn on the car, and now there's no air conditioning. In fact, it's only heat that's coming out. And I went, are you kidding me? Insert whatever words you choose. And I went, great. I thought, well, what if I turn off the car, turn it back on? Because I know there's flaps, right, for heat and cooling. Anyways, I'm in London. I want to get out of London. London is, on a good day, not a fun city to drive in. We used to live in London, and just get me out. So I'm going to take the back roads home. Stay off the 402, just take the back roads home. So I had to get north of the 401 and drive through London. It's like, okay, it's hot. I had to roll down the windows. I didn't want to do it because it was bad air quality, but I had to. Otherwise, I was going to die. And I went old school 1975 driving down the highway, side road highway, home with the windows down. And came home, parked the car in the driveway and said, that's it, we got to get her in. And so we dropped it off. What's today? Today's Thursday. We dropped it off Tuesday. Yesterday they looked at it Wednesday, and there's some things wrong. I'm not a mechanic. Parts are ordered. Might come in today, might come in tomorrow, depending where exactly get the part, because either they could get it from Vancouver or they have to get it from the States. And with the current situation, goods and services are still coming across the border. I live in a border town. So goods and services are still coming across the border, but they're still, because of the whole situation with the tariffs, yeah, it's not fun. Anyways, so it's going to be a hefty bill. Thankfully, we have 2 other vehicles that have air conditioning because it was hot this week. I had Dave drive the car with the Atlas. It's an Atlas, Volkswagen Atlas, with the broken AC. I said, your turn to drive it. He goes, okay. And we had to stop for Valley Village run to drop some stuff off. And then Staples, because he had something from Amazon that he had to send back. And so we have to drive into town. And we get to the first stop, and it's like, how's it going, eh? Yeah, there's my Canadian. And he's like, oh, it's hot. Because he handles the heat better than I do, at least. But it was a hot day. It was a hot day. And I started getting a headache because this is when Tuesday storms were getting ready to roll in. Sure enough, a big storm. We had to go to Canadian Tire for a couple things as well. And afterwards, in the vehicle, I was driving the Beetle that had air conditioning. And we got stuck in the storm. But yeah, hot enough for you. So then we've got our oldest Laura coming home from England. She has a friend's wedding. First it's the bachelorette party, and then the wedding. The wedding's in the middle of the week in Kitchener-Waterloo. Our Laura doesn't really have her driver's license anymore. She's been overseas in the UK since 2020. So we are her mode of transportation while she's here. So we will pick her up from the airport. But Air Canada flight attendants are threatening to go on strike. And she's booked her flight with Air Canada. And I think today they are starting to cancel flights for so many days in advance. Her flight is not in that day cluster. It's the following day. It's the Tuesday, the 19th. So it doesn't look good. It's like, come on, Air Canada, pay your flight attendants properly so they can do their job properly so my daughter can come home from England. And she's had some issues with her flat, with the boiler being replaced, and then it was turned on in a heat wave. And if you live in England, you know, you guys don't have air conditioning and the insulation like we do here for this extreme heat that you guys are now experiencing, unfortunately. And then they ran out of and then the hot water stopped working. So I think she's ready to come home to Canada, but we'll see what happens. There might be a snafu. We looked into flights with other airlines, and it's the time of year. Because of what's going on in the States, a lot of people that had booked travel overseas to the US have switched plans and coming here to Canada instead. It's August, it's prime travel season. And so flights are few and far between. She's itty bitty tiny, just put her in economy for 7-8 hours, she's fine. But it's trying to find a flight to replace the one that might be canceled, and we don't want to book one and then find out, oh, we've come to agreement, your flight's still a go. So anyways, we'll see. And then it's my birthday month. August is my birthday month, and it's also Laura's birthday month. I'm August 21st, Laura's August 31st. And so we also, which is also for us here, Labor Day weekend. Which is the weekend before everybody goes back to school, etc. And routines kick in. So we're hoping to have, the plan is, she should be here on her birthday on the 31st. She turns 30th. So we were supposed to have a big Jenkins family get together at Christmas, but Daniel brought COVID into the house. It is what it is. And then we had a nephew who also ended up bringing COVID into Dave's sister's house. So we just canceled the Jenkins family get together. So we're having that on Laura's 30th, and we bought a barbecue. We have a natural gas line on the back porch that we could just hook up the barbecue. So we've got a new barbecue hooked up, and we've tried it out a few times. So we're gonna do a barbecue. I ordered cupcakes and pie. Laura loves pie. Strawberry rhubarb, she misses that, so we ordered her a strawberry rhubarb pie. And we'll do different burgers, probably corn on the cob, excuse me, because Laura is missing corn on the cob. Canadian style, I guess. They do corn in England, but not quite the same. She notices it's not quite the same. And then on my birthday, I'm not a big meat eater, but we're going to do some steak because she misses. It's hard to get a good steak over there, apparently, because they don't do the beef the way we do. I don't know. Anyways, so that's the plan. And then she goes back after Labor Day. I think it's Wednesday the 3rd. So fingers crossed. And I just saw daughter Amanda pull up in the driveway. Hopefully, I told her to be quiet when she comes in, so we'll see. Anyways, I have a view of the front window, of the front drive and road. So that is what is my life update. Let's talk about whips. First whip is what I started in May, which is from Mirabilia May. And if you saw my last video, my Mirabilia May was off to a really late start because scroll rod situation with I have the Mark II floor stand from Our Side Crafts Evertote. And I didn't have, there's like you have the floor stand, there's like a bar, stabilizer bar. And it has to be a little bit longer than the actual rods you're using so that there's room for flipping. And I didn't have the right length of this bar, so I had to order another one. And so, anyways, this is what it's supposed to look like. Move my face out of the way. And it's Mirabilia's Athena, and I am stitching it on 32 count chestnut. And So this is how I found with my scroll rods. This is like an archival safe twine that I have from my scrapbooking supply, and I just tie it with a tag. Oh, come on. So that I know. Focus on that. Anyways. And that way, because you get all these scroll rods with projects and it's hard to keep track. Now, what is my camera doing? There we go. So I found this is a good way to keep track because I just got these at Staples. They're like little tags. Anyways, I stitched on this well into June. It's big. Sorry, before I break something. That is as far as I got. She kind of went into timeout because around here, I'm having issues. Something is off by 1 or 2 stitches, so I have to seriously sit down and figure it out. Like I said, it's summertime. I'm not really stitching as much because we tend to go for walks in the evenings when we can, when the air quality is better. And it's just, yeah, it's summer. So she's in timeout for now, but I really enjoy it. I've been having so much fun with this. Yeah, I will bring it out probably later. Like I said, it's August. There's a lot going on with Laura coming home, and now we're not sure what's going on with her flights. So I got a little frustrated with not having things line up the way I wanted. So I brought out end of June-ish. I just wanted something I knew I would enjoy. And that is, and it was Christmas in July. I thought this is good. Winter Kaleidoscope by Modern Folk Embroidery. I love this piece. It's had Jacob sign it at Jacob Palooza. Where is it? All right. It's still on my floor frame. I'm stitching this on, where am I? There we go. 32 count dirty porcelain. The thread, it's a lot of thread, is mulberry, all by Roxy Floss Co. The fabric and the floss by Roxy Floss Co. And I'm almost done this side. As you can see. I think when I put it down last time, I had just finished here, so I did this in July. Like I said, not much stitching has been going on. I'm going to keep it on the floor frame for now. Hopefully it was focused. Let me see. There we go. Look at that. So yeah, this is dirty porcelain. And I am loving it, loving it, loving it. Try not to break anything. So yes, this is mulberry. I know Jacob likes to stitch in Falu red. When I was picking out the fabric and laying out thread, this one really, just something about the richness of mulberry really jumped out at me. So that's it. And then, we're having issues. As you know, if you follow Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery and Caroline and Carrie from Roxy Floss Co. and Evertote, this is my birthday month. And for my birthday stitch, I have started the quintessential Frisian smalls. This is the book. It's a doozy. So the premise is, I have never stitched a small. I have attended retreats. I have never done the smalls exchange because I am never comfortable with what I might produce for a small because I've never made one before. And I knew my birthday month was, everybody knows my birthday month is coming up. I knew it was coming up, and I wanted to do something for my birthday, and I was humming and hawing. And then when I was at Stitch North, end of April this year, Caroline hinted at this possibility. So when I saw it released, I knew this would be my birthday stitch. It's a series of different smalls. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we start August 1st, September 1st. Can't remember what the other ones are. And we miss the month of December because that is the holiday countdown, which I've also signed up for. So I'm Frisian. Both sides of the family. My dad was born in Netherlands, which is Holland, but he is very Frisian on his dad's side. And my mom, her family's been in the same town for hundreds of years. They did genealogy, and they found ancestors like early 1500s living in this town, which means they probably were there in the Iron Age, etc. Anyway, so this is the map of Friesland. So my dad's, I highlighted just for fun. My dad's family was here, and this is approximately right there. That's my mom. So that's where my maternal ancestry is, and that's where my paternal ancestry in Frisian is. My dad's family is not as deeply rooted in Friesland as much as my mom. My mom's side, we are so Frisian. In Ancestry, I found an ancestor, because my maiden name is Sloterdijk. And if you're Dutch, Sloterdijk is the name of a town, now a suburb, part of Amsterdam, which is North Holland. And I have no idea how the name came about, but I did find an ancestor that moved to Friesland, to this, it's a port called Harlingen. And it was very important in that time, in the 1600s. It was a very affluent port city because of all the trade and everything. And it said he came from North Holland, which is where the town of Sloterdijk is. So who knows, maybe he came up to Friesland. What's your last name? Oh, I came from Sloterdijk, so make it Sloterdijk. I don't know where that name comes from, because we're named after there's a town. So we still haven't found any clues of how my maiden name Sloterdijk and the town, which is now a suburb of Amsterdam, Sloterdijk, are connected. I just assume my ancestor was like, I came from Sloterdijk, so my last name will be Sloterdijk. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. But it's one of those things with ancestry, right? So anyways, Frisian. This is right here, this pin keep. You will have seen it probably on Instagram and Jacob's video, Caroline's videos. So I'm doing it. So I've just started the back stitch. So there's going to be a back stitch. It comes across like this. I'm going to put my put my initials there. So tonight I'll probably finish the back stitch as best as I can and make my first small. So when I film in September, we shall see. Oh, and this is 32 count porcelain. So yeah, this is porcelain. Winter Kaleidoscope is on dirty porcelain. This is Valu red, and Winter Kaleidoscope is in mulberry. So you can see a slight. So yeah, the mulberry is more of a darker, richer red, whereas Valu's much more brighter. So those are my whips. 1 second. Okay, I do have some haul. I may not be stitching, but I did buy some stuff. First of all, I am part of the Roxy Floss Co. Evertote Plus Club. And I'm in the ABC Club. So you've got the ABC Club, and I think the other one is like One of a Kind, where I'm in the ABC Club, so I get every month a section of floss of their regular part of the stock floss. And so I have months 5, 6, and 7 of 30. So there's going to be 30 floss packs. I had misplaced 6, but I found it. It was in my Frisian samplers box, so I think it came around the same time because 7 just came. So this is 5, and I took them out of the packaging so you didn't have the crinkle crinkle. So it's Chambord all the way to coal. I am not going to name each and every single one because we'll be here till doomsday. Anyways, that's month 5. Month 6, I dropped it as I was getting ready to film. Cobblestone to Dutiful. Hopefully, I think I got it back. I dropped the whole pack and it just went poof. Of course. It's like, oh yeah. But anyways, that's month 6. So we're getting into the D's now. And then month 7 is Dark Sage to Demera. So we're in the D's. 7 months down, there's 30. Got a few more to go. We're getting there. 7 of 30 done. I did not drop these either. I did not drop these though. It was just month 6 and I went, oh really? And what I'm doing is, I'm putting them in on a big ring to as much as I can hold, and then I'll switch, and then I'll add another ring because I think I'm going to need at least a few large O-rings. And just hang it. I have a pegboard in my studio downstairs, so that's what I'll do. Okay. Some of this haul is going to tie into future plans. So, Witch's Garden Crafts is start along. They call it a stitch along. For me, it's a start along. The Samhain Queen stitch along. I don't have anything. I just have the booklet that gave us a floss and what the recommended fabric size is for Ada, so which is easy to, it tells you how many, so 111 by 140 stitches is what this project's going to be. So when you sign up, you just get a thing like this with telling you what materials you need, and the border, the frame of the pattern will be released on September 1st. The rest of the pattern will be released in 31 pieces, 1 per day during October 25th. So it sounds like we have the month of September to stitch the frame, and then in October there will be pieces released every day, kind of like an advent calendar, but it's going to be for Samhain. And this is going to explore the legend of the kayak. It's the first time I ran into this terminology. Was when we were in Scotland in 2022, and we were at Loch Lomond, and we took they called it a ferry, but it was just a little motorboat over to the island, which wasn't that far from the mainland. And it was this island that was called the island of the kayak. And I guess if you're in UK, Scotland, it is usually like an older woman, a cowled woman. For her, she's basing it on the Celtic goddess who ruled over the dark time of the year, which is October, and that ends with Samhain on October 31st. And it features soft colors and botanical themes, along with eerie creatures connected to the kayak, who represents the season of death for the natural world, which is October 31st, especially if you're like, not so much, growing seasons are a little different here, but it's like the witch's new year. one season ends, the other one begins. And October 31st is what we pick. It's a sliding scale, and it's the dark times begin, right? Because we're going into the darkness of winter. The days are getting noticeably quite shorter. So I signed up for that. I went to Michael's because it was all DMC. I picked the thread in some beautiful colors. I have to organize it better, but you can see it's got purples, oranges, of course, brownie tones. It's hard to show it properly. I'm terrible. I have not picked out a fabric yet. This came in the fabric club from Roxy Flossco and Evertote. This was 28 count in Careless Khaki. I am part of the traditional. I switched my subscription to 36 count. So I was getting 28 count for the past year. My subscription renewed and I switched it to 36 count. So I'm thinking this will go. All the colors will show. I'm gonna do some math and figure it out. I don't know. September 1st, we'll see. Okay. A while ago from Brennan Needle, I ordered a kit. Do not ask me what the name of the kit was. And most of it came, but I forget the name of the person who does the floss dyeing. She had some health crisis, so it got behind. But anyways, the floss came. In typical Brennan Needle fashion. There's no names of this. They've had to pivot, Patsy, and I'm sorry, I do not remember the name of the person who dyes the floss and fabric. But anyways, they had to pivot their business because of things going on personally for both of them, I think. Anyways, support Canadian. They're out in Newfoundland. Oh, I love it. So what am I gonna do with it? I don't know. All right, what else? Oh, this is the Cottage Garden Year in the Woods. I got 2 of the 3 releases so far. This is the second one. Sugar Glider. Sorry about the glare. What happens if I take it out? I hopefully... The sun's at that angle. It's going to be late afternoon. So there's the Sugar Glider. And then the floss pack for it. And on 40 count, Legacy by Picture This Plus. I think all the pieces are on 40 count Legacy. Anyways, there it is. Legacy is one of those standard fabrics. It is beautiful. And I'm getting this, the traditional stitches out west, out in Alberta. Oops, very crinkle, crinkle, crinkle. So I switched, oh, this is 28 count too. Platinum, July. Yeah, this was my last one. I switched to 36 count. Anyways, platinum. This is still 28 count from the Fabric Club. Isn't that stunning? And of course, the camera's not going to show. I'm part of the bag. They do, Evertote has their project bag club. So this is what came. So month 7, the fabric and the bag club all came at once. They've timed it well. So Notions pouch, floss bed, a smaller pouch, just a simple. It's got like an antique Victorian rose. And then the big project bag. As always, these project bags are phenomenal. They're so well made, so sturdy, and the lining's the same. Okay, so there's that. I'm sure I will fill it with something. I might put my Witch's Garden start along. I'm terrible. I will start something. Okay. And a bag of cranberry tea. Caroline always thinks of these little things. All right. I have to open this pouch. So this is it's summer. And I had ordered stuff a while ago from Traditional Stitches. So what did I get? Gifts of the Season by Blackbird Designs. I love Blackbird. And then there's the antique sampler that is based on. 4 projects inspired by an English sampler. Jane Fawn's 1825. They don't have any information on who she is. Just 1825, and they purchased it from eBay in England, and they have no idea of where this sampler came from or anything about the young girl who created it. So they kind of made it a bit smaller than the original. So that's the sampler. That is gorgeous. And uses Gentle Arts and Weeks Dye Works and Classic Colorworks. And this is the full-on. So that's the smaller one, and then they have the one that does all this. It looks like. And oh, looks like they did like a glass paperweight. Oh, just typical Blackbird. I love it. And of course, a pen keep. And I'm learning to make pen keeps. Jeanette Douglas, Seasons in the Garden. I got summer, and I got the fabric and the embellishment fabric floss. What's the fabric? 40 count moonstone from Fiber on a Whim. I have yet to start it. I'm wrapping my brain around smalls, and then I'll wrap my brain around Jeanette Douglas at another time. So, and then this is the Gloriana threads. 3 skeins of Gloriana threads with Mill Hill beads, which is for this section here. And then fall, which one's fall? Autumn. Yeah, so this is summer. Sorry, this is summer. It's going to be like 4 big pieces. There we go. So this is just one corner. This is a quarter. This is 1/4. 1 corner of the completed project. Say that 3 times fast. So there's that. Or maybe I did get the threads. See, I haven't had a chance to go through this yet. Life has been lifing me, among other things. There's just a lot going on. They gave me I forget what this is for. This is for something. I was missing something. Here we go. Check the packing slip. Oh, this is for Bluebirds and Bluebells from Pansy Patch Quilts pattern. They were missing. This is Grapevine. That's all that is. Keep the packing slip. I think Summer in the Garden. We got Seasons in the Garden with the thread pack. This belongs to the Blackbird Designs pattern. book. All right, so this is Gifts of the Seasons with the floss of Weeks Dye Works, Classic Color Works, and Gentle Art. I do not have fabric for this, but I'm sure I can find something in my stash. And oh, glare, I'm sorry. Can you tell I'm flying by the seat of my pants today, so please be patient. Always be patient with me. All right, Classic Color Works is kind of got a twist. Anyways, this is the palette for the Gifts of the Season by Blackbird Designs. And then I have, this is release 1. This is the whole reason I wanted to get the Year in the Woods 2 set. Wolf is the first pattern, and then the thread pack, hopefully the glare, and again 40 count legacy by Picture This Plus. That all goes together. And this is another one that I picked up that I did not get fabric. Leela Studios, Peace on Earth, a Winter Quaker sampler. I'm opening it because the plastic is very glare-like. Like the glare is really bad. But oh, isn't that gorgeous? Just like all her other seasonal Quakers. Oh, oh, oh. I love it. And I did not get the fabric, but I did get the DMC floss pack that goes with it. When I will start this, I do not know. So my final piece, my final piece of haul is, so I've got this starting September 1st with the frame of the sampler, and then it's Sampler September coming up. And this girl who doesn't like extreme heat and has had a lot of it, can't wait for fall. This is, of course, Roxy Floss Co., Evertote, and Maximum Cross Stitch collaboration for Sampler September. If you've watched Caroline and Carrie show the actual model, so I got the full kit that does the full sampler and the cross stitch. It's Jane Wood 1853. All I know is when Caroline first showed the shop model, I went, oh, it is gorgeous. Of course, it's all charted in Roxy Floss Co. And I got the kit for the sampler and the pin cushion because, you know, I have a lot of time on my hands with sarcasm. So anyways, this phrase, oh, come on, is in 1/1. I've never stitched 1/1. There's a first time for everything. Now, Ellen, the wonderful human being that she is, has also charted another phrase. I think it's the same phrase. I charted the reproduction. Because if you're on Ada, she recharted the phrase, I think, for the Ada. It's It's big. Anyways, you're gonna see it. I made my working copy right away. I will not show you my working copy because it's the pattern. I always do a working copy. This one's got so many pages. I had to do a bullnose clip. And I'm probably going to do a center start. So both pieces will be on 40 count speculas. The sampler's on 1/2 yard. That's how big it is. And then the sampler and the pin cushion will be both on 40 count speculas. And obviously for the pin cushion, I don't need as much fabric. So I got 1/2 and 1/4 yard. And then this, oh yeah, and they had to give you extra. So she's a biggie. So of course it's going to be 1/2, except for the verse, which will be 1/1, which I've never done before. But there's a first time for everything. And oh, Ellen. And then I had to get a couple because of, you needed extra, right? Of the piggy bank and knockout, which is the pinks, because there's a lot of pink. Oh, it is gonna be a doozy. Yeah, alternative text over 2. Weep not, dear friend, we shall meet again. Whereas the original says, weep not, dear friends, but be content. For I to you was only lent. Lift up your eyes, your tears refrain. I hope to greet you all again. Jane Wood, age 14, 1853. Oh, that is so cool. I love historical reproductions. It's just, I'm a history buff. So I don't think she knows much. Yeah, they don't know much. It says a common name and lack of other identifying information. And it was impossible to find out anything about the original stitcher. But she loved bright colors. 25 count linen. Original was in 25 count linen with wool. It was in really good shape. And of course, Gwyneth, Curling Stones and X Stitches, did the models. And then to show you the size, so there's the model, and then she put a can of Coke beside it. And if you watch Roxy Floss Co. Evertote, you will see Caroline holding the shop sample. And it's humongous glory. And that's also on 40 count. So I am really, oops, not losing my working copy. I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. So shout outs. I only have a couple. There's Leslie Jackson, a nurse and her needle. She's new. And I've watched 2 of her floss tubes, number 1 and number 2. And in number 2, she talks about something that happened, which is if you go on a retreat, probably, if you're like me, one of the worst nightmares that could ever happen. She had, what was it? 324 Works by ABC pattern that her and her mother, I think, were working on together, taking turns. And they were in Rockford, Illinois, a couple months earlier for a retreat, and neither one of them could find the pattern. The other one thought the other had it, like, wires crossed. And lucky for Leslie, she called the hotel where they stayed, and it was in their lost and found. And so, can you imagine? And I've heard that before on retreats, and it's always one of my things when I go to a retreat, as I'm getting ready to leave, I am like quadruple checking every nook, cranny, drawer, under pillows to make sure I'm not missing anything, especially something that you're working on and it's near and dear to you. Anyways, go check her out. She's got some beautiful projects and she does some gardening, etc. So The Attic announced a new release in honor of Jean. I have never ordered anything from the attic yet. I do love watching because Jean just had this, the reproduction samplers. It's the whole thing that's just sucked me in. And now with the current situation between Canada and the US in terms of tariffs, I will not be ordering it, but I will mention this project because I think it's a phenomenal tribute to Jean. So I guess after Jean passed, they found an antique sampler in her desk that looks like she was getting ready to create a reproduction. And so they decided, in honor of Jean, to do the reproduction. So they created the reproduction, and what's it called? Anne Wildman is the name. Yeah, Anne Wildman, 1839, 9 years old. So they created a reproduction, and they're getting ready to release it with, I believe it's the silks. So, is it Sulky Silks? I'm terrible. Like I said, I've never ordered from the attic. I've just watched and admired. And I'm just looking at it on my laptop here. And they felt, because the phrase on this sampler was very much representative of Jean. I've never met her. I've never known her. I came late to watching the attic on Flosstube when Jean was quite ill. So she wasn't always on because of the health that she was dealing with at that time. But this is the saying, be you to others kind and true as you have others be to you, and neither do nor say to men whate'er you would not take again. I thought that was very appropriate from what I've heard about Jean and the massive heart that this woman apparently had. So anyways, I am looking forward to seeing people create it. It'll be an attic exclusive, I assume. Anyways, just check it out, the attic needlework. It was a video released August 8th. And they're still putting the finishing touches, I guess, on the pattern and all of the bits and bobs. Anyways, and they don't have a shop model yet. It is just the original sampler that they created the reproduction from, is from what I can gather. Anyways, check it out on their Flosstube. It looks like it's going to be a wonderful tribute. If things settle down south of here and I ever go back to the States, I might try and get that. I don't know. We'll see. I have enough projects for 10 zombie apocalypses. So all is good. Plans. So we have sampler September. So August, I'm just going to try and focus finishing on that little pin cushion from Quintessential Frisian Samplers. Happy birthday to me. My birthday's next week. A week from today. What else? The Samhain Queen Stitch Along. That's September 1st. Maximum Cross Stitch Sampler September is September 1st. I'll probably get that ready for scroll frames later this week, because once Laura arrives, things to do, places to go. Jeanette Douglas Retreat, end of October. 1 second, please. Let me get my planner. I am attending. It's October 24th to the 26th. I will be there in Brampton at the Stitch North Jeanette Douglas Retreat. I've never stitched a Jeanette Douglas before, but I ordered the retreat project. You go on the Evertote website. I'll show it. Well, I won't get it till I get to the retreat. Anyways, in terms of, I haven't talked about this yet because we're getting our ducks in a row. In terms of spring Stitch North Retreat 2026, I will not be attending this. I've attended every Stitch North Retreat since she started them up in 2022, both spring and fall. I will be missing spring Stitch North 2026, and it's all good. So our oldest daughter, as you know, last year we went to England and Scotland to visit her, and the reason we went to Scotland was to Glasgow, where Laura got her PhD last summer. She got the sorting hat. If you know the University of Glasgow's ceremony, I call it the sorting hat. It's my quirkiness. It was fabulous. And our daughter Amanda, a week or two before we flew to England, we had her graduation at the U of T for her double masters in museum studies and archives. So we decided, let's celebrate both our girls' accomplishments. And Amanda's never been overseas. Everybody else in the family has. Daniel and his girlfriend Kate went in high school for the Vimy Ridge. Was that 2016? Spring 2016 celebration? Not celebration, but honoring of Vimy Ridge in France. And so they did a week tour of Belgium and France. And so they've been overseas, but Amanda's never been overseas. So we are doing a cruise. We are sailing from Bergen to London, Bergen, Norway to London, England, and it's going to be about 2 weeks, British Isles cruise, sailing out of Bergen, Norway. So that is where I will be doing my spring. It's not till later in May, but if you know, travel takes a bit of financial commitment. So my funds will be committed and time and energy will be committed in the spring for this trip, which is a once-in-a-lifetime trip for our girls. They're both beyond excited. My daughter Amanda helps out my mother-in-law, Grandma, and about once a week. They're two peas in a pod. Like, of all the grandkids, I had the one that is the most like her grandmother. Build, looks, it's so funny. Personality. And they have the same middle name, so we always laugh. I gave her the same middle name as her grandmother, and she turned into her grandmother. But anyways, my mother-in-law says, yeah, Amanda's really excited about this trip. She's never been overseas. So we will be flying from Toronto to Heathrow, and we're going to meet, because we got to get to Bergen. And there's no direct flights from Toronto. We have to do Air Canada because we have Aeroplan points. If you live in Canada, you know what I'm talking about, which will help pay for the flights. So we're flying Toronto to Heathrow, and then we're gonna hire a car to drive us to a hotel by the Gatwick airport. So if you know in London, England, there's Heathrow and there's Gatwick. Because at Gatwick, I found a direct flight the next day from Gatwick directly to Bergen, and then we will stay a couple of days. We're sailing with Viking, a couple of days in Bergen before we board the ship. And then it's 2 weeks, and we're doing Shetland Islands, Faroe Islands, Edinburgh, Inverness, Dublin, Dover, kind of like it's a whole circuit. And then we end up in Greenwich, London, England, because Viking has smaller ships, so they can get up the Thames River, and they dock in Greenwich. And then probably, because Amanda's never really been to London, and she really, really, really wants to do the Tower of London. If you sail with a Viking, you know when you usually arrive in London, you have one night on the ship in London. And they do offer a tour, but we don't want to be confined to their short term. So probably because we've been to London, Laura has to go back her place because she's got to work. So the three of us will spend a couple extra days in London so we can take Amanda. We know how to navigate the tube system now. I think I found a fairly decent hotel in Kensington, so we can take the tube to the tower and spend a day at the Tower of London and see it on our terms and take our time for her to absorb it all before we come home. So it's huge for us, especially taking 4 of us on this cruise. But it's a celebration of our girls and what they have accomplished, and Amanda's really excited to get across the pond, because she's never been overseas and she's always been dying to. Daniel still has 3 more years before he's done his degree. His girlfriend, Kate, she's got 1 more year. She's starting her practical. She's doing master's in psychology. So she's doing in practicum. I think she starts in September. But Daniel's got 3 more years, and we'll see what they want to do to celebrate their accomplishments before they get on with their lives. But yeah, so I am missing Stitch North 2026 spring. But Shakespeare's Peddler apparently is coming the fall, end of October 2026. And I definitely will be most likely there for that one. So I'm there for Jeanette Douglas, fall 2025. And Shakespeare's Peddler, Teresa Kitten Stitcher, October 2026. And then I would probably be there, no, I don't have a crystal ball, for the Stitch North Spring 2027. Okay, I think that's enough blabbering. So thank you for watching. I hope to be back in September. My August is wrapping up to be quite busy. September is also my Flosstube anniversary. It'll be 2 years this coming September. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. We'll see. I might have a giveaway. I don't know. If I do a giveaway, it might be just to Canada, just because shipping stuff to the US is just not great. Just to say that right now. I know there's a lot of cross-stitch companies, businesses, small businesses that announce they will no longer be shipping to the US. So anyways, a lot of confusion right now. Unnecessary confusion. And anyways, so that's it. I am going to wrap this up. It's 1 hour and 2 minutes. I'm surprised it lasted this long. I thought it'd be 30 to 45 minutes, but then I start talking. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment, and hopefully I will see you in September. And remember to try and create some magic every day that you can when you put needle and thread to fabric. Take care.